So yeah, I realized I'd do something really bad against Fox. So a very common thing to do in this matchup is like laser in place. Probably not at that spacing, but yeah, you laser in place and then you look for like a movement option. So like laser in place, you read the full hop with a shine, laser in place, you read the dash back with another laser and take the space. Or a very common one that I use is laser in place and then you dare right in front of him. So if he tries to move forward, he'll run into it. The issue that I have is, and a lot of Falcos probably have as well, is I'll do laser instant dare like that, rather than like a -6 dare, which is doing a dare at the apex of your jump so you can fast fall in the first frame. Because if you do dare instantly, even if it hits, you hit the dare so early that you have all the time to fall while he's in hit stun and you don't get the shine. And it's worse on shield. Because like that dare, it looks really bad, but see how it's -6? That's what I'm talking about. And it's still shine out as shieldable, but obviously if you space it like that, then it's not. This video is just going to be called story time. There's so many stories I have to tell. When I'm on my handbrake days, I let loose. I realize this is feels like brain is working hard, but towards nothing helpful. I feel like I'm a computer with like a really high graphics card and a really good processor, but I have like no RAM. Or no. Sorry, I have good RAM. I have really high RAM because I have good short-term memory, but I'm like a solid state drive with like 50 gigs of memory. Like my long-term memory, it's just like all this melee and games and like info. I'm just like, that's useless, that's useless, that's useless, that's useless, and I just throw it all out. Do I love or hate the Logos linted? I like it. Chat and YouTube comments, what do you think is your weakest trait, like personality wise, that inhibits you from being better at the game? I'm not talking about like my tech skill is bad or I'm bad at this matchup. Like I'm lazy with practice, or I practice in the wrong way, or like my ego prevents me from taking advice or something. I think it's a really interesting question. You guys should definitely answer that. And like I'm about to make like a huge upset, and the chat is just like Logos linted, Logos linted. That's what I imagine is gonna happen. And then the meme is gonna expand and be like, spam this lint or some shit. And it's just gonna be like a lint emote. Do I need a lint emote? Just like a little bit of pocket fluff? I feel like that's that accomplishes nothing. That's so like deep that no one would ever get that. Like, why the fuck do you have a lint emote? That's what I thought it was. I'm pretty sure you commented on that on like some video where I was like, don't test my ledge dash or something. So I thought you were saying like Logos is gallanted. That's what I thought it was. Oh yeah. I also, dude, so I took 3 days off for my hands. And I realized, like I said, in that time, I become like a philosopher. And in that time, like last night when I took my walk, I realized we're so like, I think the reason people like, so I think one thing like with mental illness, I think we're much more aware of it. So it seems like it's everywhere. But I think another thing, and this is just my like, I guess opinion or take on it. I think the reason why it's so prevalent in people nowadays is because we literally do not give ourselves time to process things. And I do this. Like, I'm like, wake up, go to the gym, play Melee, play Valorant, work. And I'm just like constantly like go, task. And then I was taking my walk and it was just like processing. Like, if you go to therapy or know anything about like just like mental wellness, like there's a term called processing where you actually get to like process emotions and like memories and like work stuff out. And it was just like this bombardment of like, why am I like this, or why am I like this, or why do I have these problems? And I was like, dude, if everyone just took like 20 minutes out of their day to just like walk and like not have stimulation, because that's a thing, like people like put on Melee, they put on a stream at the same time, then they have music, and it's just like overload of stimulation all the time, and you're never giving your brain like time to rest or process things. So in that time, I was like, I really want to take time to process things. And this kind of segues into like my therapy journey, I guess. There's a thing called EMDR, which essentially like you hold two devices in your hands like this, and it alternates vibrations. And it's supposed to like heal your neural pathways when you like relate to a memory or a feeling or an emotion. And you can do that for yourself, right? Like she taught me like you can like pat your legs in like a tempo to like simulate that vibration. And then I was like, dude, like walking is kind of like that, because your gait, you know, is just like right, left. It's very like rhythmic. And I think I just really want to start taking like 10 to 20 minutes out of my day and just go on like nighttime walks and like process stuff. I think it's so beneficial for mental health. Oh, this brings me back to another point. So a big thing too, I think, is eating. When was the last time that you ate without watching something or doing something or just looking at your phone? Be honest. When was the last time that you just sat there and ate? I was listening to this podcast years ago. It's actually Dan Harmon's podcast, the creator of Rick and Morty. That's actually how I got into D&D. But anyway, Rob Schraub, he's this comic book writer, and he was talking about how his family is practicing like sitting down and just like enjoying their food, and like the amount of increase that you get with like flavor and just like the relationship that you have with food improves. I thought it was super interesting, so I might try to start doing that too. Like try to just like sit there and eat and not have to like watch something. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, welcome to Logos Talks, by the way, the new hit talk show. We are on Mondays every week now, but so the last thing I wanted to talk about is I tweeted this earlier, but being able to take advice from people who are worse than you is such an invaluable skill. And like, there's no getting around the fact that the only reason that you don't want to take advice from someone that you perceive as worse than you is because of ego. That's literally it. You could justify that it's like hearing this information may damage like my knowledge, or like they're just wrong. But like, the fact is most people aren't even willing to hear it if they think it's coming from someone worse. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect at this and I'll take advice from, you know, Falco 69420 I love weed, who just started playing a week ago. I'm not going to sit here and act like I would just take advice from them off the rip, because I probably wouldn't. But like people like Zane, like he'll take advice from everyone and be like, oh really? And he'll think about it and he'll be objective about it. He'll be like, no, I don't think it is because this. And like, I mean, not to put like anybody on the burner here, like I said, I'm not very good at this, but like I just compare it to like Mango when he's on stream. Someone will be like, hey Mango, like I think you could do this, or is this good? And like, I'm a victim of this. Anyone who knows Mango's chat knows this. They're like, oh, Logos tries to give Mango advice, and like Mango would just be like, yeah, who the fuck are you to give me that advice? Number 64 in Utah? Like, and that's immediately where he goes. And I just think it's like such a good skill to have. Like, I think that is why Zane shot up so fast, is because think of how much you learn if you're open to more sources and you actually filter them through like objective means, rather than like ego and personal like oh, who is this guy? Who is this person to give me advice, you know? So I just really want to try to be more like that and like actually listen to what everyone has to say. I mean, obviously the world would just be a better place if we all did that, but like strictly in the game, just like, is that a good idea? And then kind of filter through it. Cause I mean, there is a lot of bad advice out there, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, I think it's a really good skill to have. Cause I was even talking to Zane about it. I was like, hey, I was just watching a set against Amsa and I noticed you do this a lot. And he was like, oh, okay. And like, he was like, oh yeah, like I noticed that too. And to be fair, I think it's a little bit of a bit. Like, I think if I were to like DM Mango, he'd be more open about it. But yeah. Tafo's the only one that can get Mango to listen to him. No, that's not true. Kalindi. The Falcons have talked about it, and we're just gonna give all our info to Kalindi, and then he's gonna pass it on to Mango. That's the plan. I just solved the box discrepancy. You know what Fob should get? Fob should get a modifier like the box, where it drops you from ledge without fast falling. Just like the box has. Thought he moved on and became a real person? Nah, once you play Melee once, it's like the Death Note. Like how you can't go to the afterlife if you use the Death Note. You can't become a normal person or a functioning human being after you've touched Melee. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to super thanks or donate so we can reach that goal. Or else.